Namaskar, good evening. You're watching Nation Wants to Know and I am Swati Joshi. In the last 600 days, every time AAP convener Arvind Kejriwal told his supporters that he and his colleagues were Kattar Imandar, the BJP alleges Arvind Kejriwal knew in his heart that dark truths of his misdeeds have been buried deep by his own government. Today, the scams that AAP Sarkar sought to bury for the longest time is finally out. BJP government in Delhi has tabled first of the 14 CAG reports that were suppressed, some for almost 2 years. The report was on AAP Sarkar's controversial liquor policy, and it says in black and white that Delhi suffered losses of over 2,000 crore rupees due to the 2021-2022 excise policy. And these losses were caused in just 11 months that this policy was in place for before being scrapped. Let's break down the details of the losses that we are talking about. And 27 crore loss was because of incorrect collection of security deposit. Let's move on. Let's take a look at more data. 144 crore loss because of waiver of license fees. Not just that. There's more details that is tumbling out about how the total amount comes to over 2,000 crore. 890 crore loss, reason no retender of surrendered retail licenses. Apart from that, there was a loss of 941 crore rupees because of the exemptions that were given to zonal licensees, and this is how the total comes to over 2,000 crore loss for the exchequer as per the CAG report. This is the total breakdown of the losses that were incurred just in the period of 11 months that this policy was in place. Now, the speaker says that delaying the reports or hiding the reports is similar to a criminal offense. Let's listen into some reactions.
मैं इस बात से बहुत पीड़ित हूं कि सीएजी रिपोर्ट को दबा दिया गया और पिछली सरकार ने इस रिपोर्ट को सदन में प्रस्तुत न करके संवैधानिक प्रावधानों का जानबूझकर उल्लंघन किया। आज सीएजी रिपोर्ट को सदन पटल पर प्रस्तुत किया जा रहा है क्योंकि ये मामला बहुत गंभीर मामला है। सीएजी की रिपोर्ट को दबाना एक तरह का क्रिमिनल ऑफेंस है मेरी नजर में।
So amidst the CAG showdown, there was ruckus and there was hangama inside the assembly, after which some AAP MLAs were also suspended for 3 days. What you saw so far was what happened inside the assembly over CAG report. But there was also parallel political theatre playing out over Ambedkar. Earlier, 21 AAP MLAs were suspended, including leader of opposition Atishi, for 3 days for disrupting LG's inaugural address. Atishi and AAP MLAs protested against the alleged removal of B.R. Ambedkar's portrait from the Chief Minister's office, accusing BJP of disrespecting Baba Saheb Ambedkar. BJP has already fact-checked the AAP over their claims, putting out images to show that there has been no removal of any portraits, just repositioning. The Saffron Party says that AAP leaders are resorting to disruption since they want to deflect attention away from the skeletons that are tumbling out of the cupboard due to the AAP government's misdeeds.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने सरकार बनाते ही दिल्ली सचिवालय के मुख्यमंत्री कार्यालय से, दिल्ली विधानसभा के मुख्यमंत्री कार्यालय से, सभी मंत्रियों के कार्यालय से बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर की ये तस्वीर हटाकर उसकी जगह नरेंद्र मोदी जी की तस्वीर लगा दी। क्या भारतीय जनता पार्टी को ये लगता है कि बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर से बड़े हैं प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी? आज जब हमने बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर जी के नाम के नारे लगाए तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के स्पीकर साहब ने हमें उठा के बाहर फेंक दिया।
सारे विपक्ष को पता था कि सीएजी की रिपोर्ट आ रही है, इसलिए उन्होंने कल से ही माहौल बनाना शुरू किया और वो बाबा साहब अंबेडकर जी की फ़ोटो, शहीद आजम की फ़ोटो, इन सब का मुद्दा बिल्कुल गलत बना रहे थे। ऐसा कोई मुद्दा नहीं था, ये सारी अफवाहें थी।
Now, the nation wants to know the truth behind this. And what do you think of this controversy, viewers? Did AAP bury the CAG reports to hide scams? Cast your votes at Times Now on social media platform X, and we'll reveal the final numbers at the end of the debate. So let's open up the debate and let's go across to our guests. We have Radhika Keda of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Shekhar Iyer, senior journalist. We have Rohan Mitra of the Congress. We have Dr. Nimi Rastogi of the Aam Aadmi Party, and Saji Chako, also a senior journalist. Good evening to all of you. Let me begin with you, Dr. Rastogi. The allegation is that the Aam Aadmi Party only wanted to divert attention, इसलिए माहौल बनाया जा रहा था scam को छुपाने के लिए. Ambedkar controversy was brought in when the truth is that the exchequer 2000 to over 2,000 crore rupees was the loss that was incurred by the state.
Swati, today is a very satisfying day for Aam Aadmi Party because all this while the false allegation of liquor policy and Aam Aadmi Party earning money out of it has stood untrue, because this is proof that liquor policy was a very sound policy that actually encouraged more revenue gains for Delhi Khazana. The same policy is in place in Punjab, and today's CAG report shows that there was revenue increment from 4,000 to 9,000. So basically, in 1 year, 5,487 crore rupees were generated or could have been generated had this policy not been obliterated.
So you're saying there was revenue generation?
Yes.
So where is this figure of over 2,000 crore loss to the exchequer coming from?
This is selective projection of fact. We stand vindicated that the policy actually was good because it created havoc in the middleman, and it broke the nexus between the people who used to act as middleman, so that the money was not.
So where is this figure coming in from? Where is this figure coming in from of the over 2,000 crore loss that was incurred during this policy that was in place for 11 months?
Precisely, that's what I'm telling you. If somebody cares to read verbatim the CAG report, it says that it was a good policy that actually encouraged revenue generation of 5,487. These are the facts written in CAG report.
Okay, let me bring in Radhika Kheda. Radhika Kheda, your party is alleging, your government is alleging that they are only trying to deflect attention, and that's why the Ambedkar controversy. Whereas you have Dr. Rastogi saying it was a good policy. There was revenue generation. There was no loss. What is happening is selective reading of the report. How do you respond?
Everybody knows that they are creating a controversy which is not there in the name of Baba Saheb Ambedkar ji. This is the photograph of the Chief Minister Atishi, former Chief Minister Atishi ji. She's talking about B.R. Ambedkar ji. I hope it's being zoomed in. And she has kept Ambedkar ji's photo on her feet. So how much they respect Ambedkar ji is for everyone to see. And why do they have a problem if all the photographs are there? They have been just placed at a different place. And why do they have a photograph problem with Mahatma Gandhi ji's photo also being added to the pictures that are already there? Why do they have so much hatred towards Mahatma Gandhi ji, the father of the nation? Having said that, let's get back to the topic. See, the CAG bill was, the report was supposed to be tabled today, and which is why they started getting all jittery, and they started behaving in a very unruly manner, creating ruckus. They are not willing to accept the fact that the people of Delhi have given them a befitting reply. Arvind Kejriwal went to the people of Delhi claiming that he was being framed in the liquor policy charges when man asked the people of Delhi to vote for him. The people of Delhi did not vote for him. They made him also lose the election. If the liquor policy was correct, why did they take it back? They did not follow any proper policies. They were opening liquor shops everywhere. In fact, where I stay, there were at least 8 to 10 liquor shops right next to walking distance, like hardly 100 feet away from the school, near temples, and they were selling liquor 1+1, and everybody knows in Delhi, who's live in Delhi, what they were up to.
Okay.
At the time of Corona, when education policies were supposed to be made, Mr. Sisodia was busy.
So you're saying this is not a selective reading of the report. I want to take a very quick response from Dr. Rastogi. Very quick response, Radhika Kheda, please stay on with us. So Radhika Kheda is asking if there was nothing wrong with the policy, why did you take it back? If it was generating so much of revenue for the government, you should have taken credit. Dr. Rastogi.
Absolutely. And you know what Radhika is saying, that there were more shops. Actually, a report says the number of liquor shops decreased because we stopped the middleman practice, and it actually brought down the number of liquor shops to much lesser numbers. So they are far away from the facts. This policy was a good policy, just that we
So then why the delay? Dr. Rastogi, I'll have to ask, why the delay then in releasing the reports? Because the Bharatiya Janata Party government in Delhi is saying that these reports were deliberately delayed, or that the Aam Aadmi Party government wanted to hide these reports because they wanted to hide the truth from the people.
See, Aam Aadmi Party didn't want to hide anything because we have nothing to hide. It's transparent. It's out in the open. Please go through it and find faults in that policy. And we are ready to face any inquiry.
Okay, let me bring in our other panelists as well. So Rohan Mitra, who's deflecting, who's diverting attention, does this question of why the delay make no sense?
Good evening, Swati. Swati, I'm very confused right now with what the AAP is saying. They are saying their policy was good, but they removed it.
Yes.
Secondly, they are saying that, they removed the middlemen from the whole thing. So if the CAG report was going to be supportive of their cause and all the points what she's mentioning, Dr. Rastogi is mentioning, they should have brought this out right when Mr. Kejriwal was arrested, because as an opposition, we were beside them that, Mr. Kejriwal was being taken for a ride. The BJP government was being vindictive. See, the CAG report is something which the Congress party has had a bad experience with. So I don't want to go too much detail into the CAG report. But the AAP is confusing his own case here, because they are saying it's a good policy. They brought in, they took it back. The CAG report is supportive of their whole revenue. But then I want to understand, how did the BRS in Telangana, how did they get involved if the middlemen were out of this picture? So they brought in the BRS from Telangana. We've seen how the arrests have been made in the BRS leadership because they were involved in this whole scam. See, the point is the AAP, which came into this politics in India in 2014, saying that, we are different. Okay. We are trying to bring in something else. They used to make accusations against everyone without any proof. And they used to blame everyone for everything. Today, when the ball is on their court, they seem to completely divert the thing and make it, it's very confusing what they are saying.
Shekhar Iyer, is it confusing? Does AAP have no defense at the moment, and that's why resorting to bringing in other issues like the Ambedkar issue, which BJP says is just a fake narrative? And yes, the Aam Aadmi Party will say their leaders are out on bail, but the investigation is far from over.
Well, the excise policy is not a thing that they can defend. So all that you are seeing is more or less on expected lines. And these things were discussed threadbare during the election campaign. And we know what happened, how the excise policy was conceived. Finally, how Congress party leaders made a complaint to LG for an inquiry. Subsequently, BJP took it up. Then as the inquiry was ordered, they scrapped the policy. At that time, you did not hear this kind of defense. And, it is an excise policy, not a drinking water policy. There was there was immediate outrage even then because they wanted to open more liquor vends in non-regulated areas. See, right from beginning there was a controversy, and this CAG report says specifically what went wrong, how even expert committee reports for changes in it were ignored by the Deputy Chief Minister, Manish Sisodia then, who was also the excise minister. Now things are there. And what I am surprised is, see, instead of welcoming an open inquiry, rather the attempt is now Ambedkar photo here or there. This is not going to cut ice with the people.
Okay. Let me bring in Mr. Chacko as well. And the very simple question that is being asked, Mr. Chacko, is that if this CAG report, like Dr. Rastogi is saying, says that the excise policy is very good, and like Atishi has been saying that there was a problem perhaps with the old policy, why was there a delay in releasing it? Why shouldn't this report have been tabled back then when Arvind Kejriwal was arrested or other leaders were arrested, and show this report and say that, we should take credit for it. It has generated revenue.
Swati, the thing with this CAG report is, one has to read it in complete detail. You can't have just preferential statements taken from one side. Okay, there is a 2,000 crore loss. I'm not denying. No, I think nobody from the AAP dare even deny it. But also, as our spokesperson said before, there's a 5,000 plus profit. So you have to take everything into consideration. And let me tell you one more thing. No amount of, you can't hide facts for a long time. This will eventually come out. So if you are saying that the Aam Aadmi
Party, that's exactly what BJP is saying, that there, and it's not just about this one policy or this one CAG report. There are 14 CAG reports that are pending. Radhika Kheda, when are those CAG reports going to be released? Because the allegation that your party has leveled is that all of this was delayed and not released deliberately because they wanted to hide their misdeeds.
Absolutely, we've been saying that from day one. And if you remember, the day we won the elections, Narendra Modi ji, the Prime Minister, announced it from our BJP headquarters when he was addressing the workers after the victory, that the first session, on the first day, we're going to table the CAG report. And we are doing that, the CAG report on the underutilized funds of the COVID era. More than 300 crores were not utilized. People, with the money that was allotted to the government to pay the salaries of healthcare workers, the money that was allotted for PPE kits, for oxygen cylinders and everything was not utilized. No money was utilized which was given for the hospital beds and ICUs. The money which they were allotted for the mohalla clinics, that was not utilized. There were no functioning toilets. Nothing was there. That report has also come out, and people deserve to know. When people of Delhi were dying during the COVID era, you know, they were literally लाशें बिछी हुई थी दिल्ली की सड़कों पे. People were not getting hospital beds. The healthcare workers did not have PPE kits. There was no oxygen available. And Arvind Kejriwal and his ministers kept blaming the centre and the LG that they're not being given money, they're not being allowed to work, they're not being able to do anything for the people of Delhi. When the matter of the fact was that he was not utilizing the funds. Where were those funds being utilized? He was busy making his Sheesh Mahal. He was busy framing these excise policies. And I will repeat myself again. The Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson could not answer why did they take back the excise policy if it was so good.
Please respond to that. Dr. Rastogi, please respond. Why were the funds lying unutilized? Was that money being diverted to build the Sheesh Mahal as is being alleged by the BJP? Do respond. And one other important question that has not been answered, Dr. Rastogi. One second. Let me finish my question. Why did you take back the policy if you were so confident it was benefiting you, if it was benefiting the exchequer?
Swati, liquor policy was ahead of its times. It had certain checks and balances. We were trying to create a new system, and that may have led to some expense that was the procedural this thing. But had it been continued, we could have really generated lots of revenue, and this doesn't go in the pocket of
doesn't matter, ma'am. Doesn't matter even if it was ahead of its time. If it was benefiting the exchequer, Rohan Mitra, don't you think the government should have back then confidently continued with it? Let allegations be leveled against your government.
No, that's Swati, policies are always ahead of time because that's what a policy is supposed to do. You know, you bring in a policy so that the world changes for the better. You know, if they are doing something good, I don't see any reason for the policies to be taken back. So, you know, I just told you, like, the whole point is it's their whole narrative is very different. So I'm not going to comment too much on it. The point is the AAP is no longer in power. So let's not diverge too much into this. It's up to the BJP government now to put an end to this. You know, they cannot drag this on. They have placed the CAG report now. We want to see, the Congress was the first to, you know, go with this to the LG. We want to know who are the accused. We want to see the accused to be punished. Okay. And enough of this, you know, this
time to take action.
Politics of
Time to take action. Radhika Kheda, quick response before we wrap up.
Yes, absolutely. We are going to take action. We are going to expose each and every corruption of the Aam Aadmi Party, and we are also going to turn the Sheesh Mahal into a museum for every Delhiite to see how a corrupt man who came to power, you know, jhanda lehrate hue, saying that he's going to change the narrative of politics, he's going to end corruption. He swore on his children. He gave out an affidavit in the first election that he contested to every single household, saying that he has a Lokpal on his own party office bearers, that no one who has been even accused of corruption will be contesting an election. Yet while on bail, all of them contested elections and they lost their elections. So that Imarat, that Sheesh Mahal is going to be a classic example that will continue to be for people to see that this is what a corrupt government does and how they.
All right. So the BJP says this is just one of the 14 CAG reports. The others are also going to be tabled that will in fact unravel the corruption during the AAP government's regime. I'm thanking Radhika Kheda, Dr. Rastogi and gentlemen for joining us on the broadcast, and it's now time to reveal the results of the poll. What do you think was the question that we asked? Did the Aam Aadmi Party actually bury the truth to hide their scams? And take a look at how you, the people of this country, have voted, those who participated online. 90% believe yes, that's what the Aam Aadmi Party did. They buried the CAG reports to hide scams, and 10% believe no. So this is the result. 90% people believe yes, the move behind burying the CAG reports was to hide the scams. And with that, in fact, we are slipping into a very short break. Lot more lined up on the other side. Stay on with us.